Here we go. I remember my hotkeys. Boy, what a hassle this is becoming.
What?
Getting this set up, man. I wish I had a permanent setup. I don't know if the TV's too loud. I got a dual monitor setup I'm trying out, and I don't have a remote for it, and I don't want to keep getting up to adjust the volume. So if you hear double music, blame Obama.
So, okay, aesthetic. To me, that's
nothing
purely...
wrong with making aesthetic choices.
Of course. But I'm saying, cause certain things require aesthetic choices. What I'm saying is that is purely a visual thing.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a difficult... Because what's the etymology of it? But aesthetics refers to all forms of art. Like, I think music there's an aesthetic to music.
That's true. I suppose you got a point.
So I'm saying you're making... I hate to use such vague language, but... It's sort of vibe-based. That's what...
Vibe. That's interesting.
As in...
You're
you
going
judge something
for
aesthetically, you're judging it by its...
But again, it's a cool factor. I mean, that's...
No, because it's not always... Sometimes it's a... I don't know. It's nebulous. That's why it's hard to describe. But
agreed.
Like there is a whole philosophy of aesthetics. It's like, what is beauty? Beauty isn't inherently coolness. It's just...
I suppose, but I mean...
Form over function in some ways. And sometimes...
that's a better way of describing it,
I'm not judging
over
for making aesthetic decisions based on aesthetics first and functionality second, because usually you can...
I normally am of the opinion that form should follow function.
It depends, because I think that you might decide, I like the way this looks, and it might not be super practical, but I'm going to mold my lifestyle around it such that it works.
Well, see, I've thought this...
I type stuff on a typewriter, not because it's more efficient, but because I like the feel of typing on a typewriter.
Well,
So I mold my space so that the typewriter isn't a clunky piece of antiquated technology, but something that I enjoy using, and thus it still serves me, even if it's not the primarily functional choice. So all I'm saying is I have a set of those throwing knives. I know that they're not the best throwing knives. They're certainly not tool knives, because the handles are not meant for that.
The handles may not be, but I have sharpened them to the point that they are functional for that.
Well, that's not tool. That's a minor consideration for a tool.
Sure.
Any knife can be sharpened, but those things have the little spindly tang that is not meant for gripping while working. It's meant for throwing.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is
you
chose to carry
throwing knives?
Yes, we got them at the same... I think it was a Christmas between the both of us. Someone got us both the same thing.
No, I bought these separately.
Yeah.
Sure? Mm-hmm. So it's possible that I saw yours and bought it. I don't know. But
all I'm saying is I think you made the choice to say, I like these, I like the style of them, so I'm going to incorporate them regardless of whether or not they're the most functional.
Well, I also have...
Because I've seen you have plenty of other knives that are more functional than
those. For sure. I have also had to adjust this actual... sheath, because it doesn't, like, initially it did not function whatsoever.
I don't know how serious a thing those were meant to be.
Well, maybe not, but I feel like you could, again, with the adjustments I've made, it's about as serious as you can be with it without being... Again, it's not... I'm not sacrificing all function purely for...
I didn't say that. I said you made the decision on aesthetic first and function second.
And that I don't disagree with.
I will say, this could be because they've been sitting, or it could just be the place. They're awfully tough.
Really? The actual chicken?
I can't tell if it's a chicken or the batter fried coating.
Because I find that the chicken is the most tender of the... Like, most of the time I get gristly kind of
Have a bite and see if maybe it's just because they've been sitting, or maybe it's just that it's the fried exterior.
Because for me, normally...
I wouldn't say that they're chewy. There is just an external, like something on the outside is a little bit tough. They have good flavor, though. I'm sure freshness would probably play in it.
Yeah, they're a little bit chewy this time. I would say this.
I mean, that's the fault of trying to buy food and then set up a temporary studio and then eat the food.
Well, yeah.
But it's what is it they say on, like, all...
All I know is that by comparison to Wingstop directly, it's not. There's no contest.
There's
to me,
a contest.
This is way easier.
No, there's a contest. Wingstops are spicier.
There's certainly spicier ones. I just got
but these are the plain buffalo, and even Wingstop's plain buffalo is spicier than this.
Well, there's a spicy buffalo. That's what I'm saying. They have more. They have like probably 16 different flavors.
Yeah, so does Wingstop. I'm just saying, buffalo for buffalo, which is my baseline. The other ones are spicier. These aren't bad. It's just, I do think it's. I'm having to get into the headspace that a lot of judges on like food TV have to deal with, where it's like it's going to be cold. You're going to have to try to ignore that as best you can.
Sure.
And they're not cold. They're just kind of lukewarm. I mean, they've got the heat that I like from buffalo. It's just, I don't know. Wingstop like slathers them in the sauce. Like there's sauce in the bottom of the box. I usually will mop up.
I also find Wingstop to be gristly chicken sometimes.
I wouldn't use the word gristly.
Anyway.
Because gristly is like sinewy.
Well.
This isn't, neither of these are sinewy. I mean, you might say it's, Wingstop probably tastes more like, you know, like chicken nuggets almost. They're probably more processed. These, I could imagine, came off of a chicken. Because even though they're boneless, my guess would be they probably carved them off of the bone rather than Wingstop is literally like, okay, we took, I'm not sure what the word is. I'm thinking like hamburger, but for chicken, like ground chicken meat, and formed them into patties, then fried those. I admit, because there are wing purists who are like, that's the only real way is on the bone, and it's got to be real what the chicken has.
I've had those, and they're
and it's just, there's something to me about like I can stick my fork in it, dunk it in the sauce,
and just go, yeah.
And just nom on it.
That's true. I had their bone in the other day, and it's just obnoxious.
Yeah, it's just
more than anything.
More of a mess.
Yeah, it's
So I mean, if you're a wing snob, there's the name drop for you. Then I can imagine you'll be like, nah, I like them because they taste like they came fresh off the chicken. Because maybe that's all it is. Maybe the difference that I'm tasting is it's just there's actual chicken skin.
Yeah, that is true. Because on their actual bone in, I got for Jethro, who obviously has a tomato allergy, and a lot of their sauces were tomato based. So they
just gotta get them into lemon pepper.
And so they did like a plain.
Yeah, bad idea.
Like a plain one for him where it was just strictly cooked, and then they added some like oil. And I was like,
they got like garlic parmesan or something like that, don't they?
He didn't do a dry rub. He just preferred just the plain. But he loved it. He thought they were great. So I was like, well, that's good.
We're not actually going to play the game. We're just going to let this cycle.
Speaking of aesthetics,
rainbow toads.
I actually had this. I was going to bring this up anyway.
What is it about sodas from a plastic cup? They just taste better than from the can. I'm just saying it. I find that fresh. Sure. I think maybe it's just that fresh from the can, because it's been sealed, it's so acidic because the bubbles are just like you've just broken the seal when you crack it open, whereas this has been sitting. I actually don't think a tinge of flatness makes a soda a little bit less harsh to drink.
Sure.
I'm not saying I want it all the way flat, but just let it sit for a little bit. It's like wine.
Let it breathe.
You gotta let it aerate a little bit.
No, so speaking of that, though, I was curious about what your thoughts were on, and I was going to bring this up anyway, about, because the notion of revolvers is somewhat
I chose a revolver primarily. I mean, yes, there's some practical things.
There are.
There's no right or wrong. Some people try to say, oh, they're better than semi-autos, or semi-autos are better. It's like, no, there's trade-offs is the only answer.
I appreciate the fact that you don't have to police brass. I mean, that's kind of nice.
That's a nice idea, especially because with how expensive things are getting, you might almost get into reloading just for the economy.
Sure, yep.
But then there's also the fact that my primary thing was I was still poor. I mean, I was even poorer than I am now. And a $300 revolver, well-researched, can still be a good purchase.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be a $300 semi-auto somewhere that's good purchase, but that's a much harder thing to find.
The Canic M9 is decent, but I've heard that people have mixed bag feelings about it because there's a fail, or there's a decocker button on it, that essentially renders the trigger useless, but it's for breakdown. But people say that it's bumped in your trigger, and then it's like if you pull out when you need to, have it hot and ready, it's like, well, that's now it's.
I think, because I'm going back to the chicken for a second. when I take the first bite, it's a bit hard to break through the skin, and then once I'm like actually,
we weren't joking about this cycle. That's the entire.
Once I'm actually eating the chicken, I can see what you mean. It's fairly tender once you break through. So I think it's probably just the fact that this comes off of the chicken, probably with the skin still on.
Sure.
And so, it's fried, which makes it kind of crispy anyways, and then it's been sitting, so it kind of turns leathery.
Yeah.
So fresh is probably a better experience. I don't know that I would say, because I have had Wingstop several minutes past when it would have been good.
Yeah, but is that a good thing that it's able to be traveled?
No, I'm just saying the fact that this has traveled for a while, and it's not bad, but it's like, it has worsened with the travel. Wingstop does the same, so I feel like I have a fair comparison. I have had Wingstop just as old as this. So, I'd say that they're probably still equal in my book. Wingstop's hard to beat for me.
I don't know. This one for me is the only place that I've ever eaten wings where I'm like, I'm going to go back there.
We've had Wingstop before.
Yeah, we have.
You've never acted like you didn't like it.
No, I don't. It's not that I don't like it, but would I personally choose to go back unless other people were going? Probably not. Whereas Wingstop, Snob, I've literally been like, I'll go there for lunch. No one's eating with me. No, I'm just saying, because there's that one has definitely got a.
There's an aesthetic to it too. I
right,
like lever action revolvers for the same reason.
Right. It's a very specific kind of category of
and
firearm.
With practice, you can overcome the practical downsides because everything has those.
Right, the deficiencies. Yeah. I think
I am entombed in keyboards and chicken, so I literally won't be able to play the game until I finish this. So enjoy. The game has gotten tired of us. It's gone. Hey, I can only cycle so many times, guys.
It literally is like, well, nope.
Nope, I've given up. Oh, come on.
It's actually done.
Well, okay. There we go. Unless I've accidentally pressed the pause button or something. No. Whoop! Uh-oh. Well, I guess we'll just sit here. It's probably fairer anyway.
No, it's a...
If you can't tell, it's a casual episode this week. I will say the fries are very good.
I do.
Even having traveled, the fries are still pretty good.
Yeah. I think the revolver argument to me has a little bit more merit on even the function level as well, because you talk about
there's the fact
caliber
that,
types.
If you have a dud round that won't set you back,
it just will cycle back. Exactly.
That's a minor practical concern, but it is a relevant one.
Yeah. And then the other thing to me is the fact that your loads can be larger without...
Yeah, you can get bigger caliber.
Right. Like, 44 mag is fairly hot.
They make semi-autos that run that.
Dirty
Harry used one, but
it's like a Desert Eagle. I mean, it's like a big freaking gun.
Desert Eagle's 50 cal, but I know because the Dirty Harry rifle, all of the gun, the Dirty Harry gun is notorious for being very finicky because it's not... You're firing very large rounds that were not intended for semi-auto.
Right. Anyway.
Well, we're going to attempt to be relevant, but like every attempt, we're going to fail. And I'm blaming you.
Oh, wow. I think that was the bus, not just running me over. I'm pretty sure it backed up again and ran me over twice for no reason.
What were your thoughts on Dune? We could have talked about this more relevantly, but we didn't.
So, okay,
we saw it 2 weeks ago now.
Yes, you're referring to the new one.
Well, yes,
I'm going to go ahead.
We can talk about the old one too.
Yeah, well, because I watched them in quick.
I did too.
Succession, and I enjoyed the first one. I think it was a little... I don't like setup movies.
That's always a struggle.
But at the same time, for a setup movie, it was good. I mean, it didn't struggle with the same types of things, and that when it ended, I wasn't leaving the theater going, well, this is obnoxious, or leaving the movie going, well, now I have to sit with this kind of angst. That
only because you knew you were going to see the other one soon, though?
Or? No. I thought that it ended decently enough that I was like, oh, okay. Now
I don't know that if I had seen it back when it came out, I wouldn't have wanted to wait so long.
I was a little surprised. I like the second one.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your entry for the loaded sentence analysis.
What would you rate it? I'm curious because rating wise I struggle because I don't know that I
liked the problem is I had the same issue with the book, which is I find it fascinating, but I wasn't like gripped by the book. I wasn't like, oh gosh, I'm so emotionally invested. It's not like Lord of the Rings for me.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is mentally interesting because it's a very well realized world, but there's also characters that I really like, and so it's emotional. I didn't feel the same way. I was like, oh, this is a fascinating world, but I didn't have any characters I was like, oh, I really like you. I mean, the relationship between Paul and Chani is better in the book, so by the end I was like, oh, I like them together. They're good together. Mm-hmm. And the movies didn't do that as well, in my opinion. I felt like Chani was not done as well as she is in the book. Oh, I'm leaking sauce.
And it almost made it... It made their relationship seem more tumultuous.
And it feels far more flippant.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, I can't imagine the Fremen would be okay with you sleeping with this chick. Like, they're super... I'm not sure what the word would be. Structured? Socially structured?
Well,
hierarchically structured?
Yeah.
In a way, I mean, yes, religiously. I don't know that they have any.
Religiously, not in a spiritual sense, but religiously meaning like rigidly.
Yeah. Dogmatic.
Yeah, dogmatically. There you go.
So it's like, if they're not going to have them be married, then them sleeping in the tent together, and essentially it's like they wanted them to have the same relationship as if they were married in the books, but they just skipped over that, and it's like, okay, but that feels inconsistent with the sort of culture of the Fremen. I feel like they would frown upon that.
Right. I also think, again, their relationship felt far less.
Well, it was less developed because they weren't
not developed. It felt far less
chemistry. I didn't feel like they had as much chemistry.
There was a lack of confidence in the relationship. It was not a very comfortable
but it's because it wasn't established.
Sure, but I mean, they in fact established the opposite.
Because
they built a lot of these tensions within the relationship.
Yeah, but there's tensions in the book naturally because of the stuff going on. But there is still the element of there's tensions in any relationship. So them being married means it's like, okay, we have this disagreement, but we have to work it out. Whereas in the movie, it's like, we have this disagreement, so I'm leaving. Because I can. There's nothing attaching me to you. So it's like, okay, I guess, yeah. So that makes it feel a lot less like, even in terms of tension, it feels less interesting. Because tension in a
marriage,
in an established,
getting
committed
over
marriage, is like,
okay,
yeah, we actually have to get over this if we're going to continue. Whereas if it's like, no, we're just sort of a fling, then yeah, we hit a road bump and we can just be over.
Yeah.
Most of my gripes about the movie come from the fact that they shorten what should have been a 4-year time skip into less than 9 months. So a lot of the development.
See, I think you said that, and I remember us.
Well, and again, I didn't
get that.
I'm curious because if you're a layman, you have not read the book,
right? And I would say because I did not read the book,
that probably didn't affect you as much.
I got a sense, even from watching the movie, that there were significant jumps forward in time. So I didn't ever wrestle with the idea. Now, it was bothersome when I found out he was supposed to have a kid and he didn't. That was like, really?
Admittedly, I had even forgotten about that.
Well,
because it's not as major a part of the book as It sounds. You'd think,
Why
he's got a
I
kid.
feel like you're handing that to me.
I'm trying to find a place to put it because there is sauce now about to leak out the corner.
You're going to have to find a spot because this is definitely not my...
I am entombed. Just give me
You're still just holding it out.
A paper towel or something, so I'll just lay it on the ground.
I can't do that. I don't know what
there you go. I'll catch the leak in the cup. There you go. I don't know that it will actually leak, but it's getting close. Okay, now I can actually play the game. So Wing Snob, final review. I'd give it another chance when it's fresh, but I'm not like, oh, it beats Wingstop out of the park. It's like, yeah, they're both pretty good.
Well, I mean, that's still a good review from you.
These fries are pretty good. Yeah, I like Wingstop a lot.
Yeah. I would say I would be curious to have you actually go and taste a lot of their other sauces because there's one that they do called Jamaican Jerk, and it's
I do like jerk
amazing.
Chicken. But I'm not, even at Wingstop, I don't experiment much. It's like buffalo wings or buffalo wings. I don't, maybe the mango habanero is kind of fun sometimes because it's tropical, but I'm like...
They also have one on the menu called Hot AF, and it's like just meant to be...
See, I'm not into that either.
It'll destroy you.
I don't need a challenge from my food, but buffalo is a good flavor for me, so I'm pretty stable with that anyways.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There was one...
My mouth is actually a little tired now.
You may actually like this one because
it's
a little bit interesting, but it's like a Oriental hot.
Is it like a Korean barbecue?
Yeah, it's like a little bit of
Wingstop has that too.
Well, there you go.
I mean, there are only so many flavors of wing you can do.
Sure.
Okay. I just pressed it.
And it says no.
Resume.
Maybe
I'll have to just restart. Maybe if it cycles too long, it won't continue. That's weird. Ooh, I am feeling the heat from those, though. They do build up over time.
Yeah.
All right, 20 minutes in. We're finally playing the game. Oh, we have to go through the sewer. I forgot. This is where we are. Blech.
Are you saying that because it's the sewer or that you...
No, I remember because there's the weird fish people in the sewer and they're hard to kill.
I don't recall this.
You wouldn't.
Oh, dear.
Ooh, I'm going to need another drink after that. Ooh.
Well,
anyways, while we're wandering the sci-fi future of this game, let's talk about the sci-fi future of something else.
So, no, well, let me unpack still the whole Dune thing, if that's what you're getting at.
I mean, that may as well be the topic.
I enjoyed his...
Look at me hover without standing on the ladder.
Tensions with being the kind of chosen one or whatever within the prophetic thing. I also think they did a good job at him basically giving admission to the fact that it was probably a manufactured prophetic thing.
They know that.
But then he just uses it to his own advantage. That makes sense. The thing I didn't like was that I feel that they're going a direction of he's almost going to buy into his own lie eventually.
I don't know if that happens in the books. It definitely doesn't happen in the first one. I have heard people talk about the Dune series as being a kind of... It's been described as being a deliberate deconstruction of the kind of white savior trope. And admittedly...
It's irksome because...
I don't necessarily like using that because it just feels more loaded than it needs to be.
Well, that, and I go...
Especially now.
In discrediting, if you will, that particular notion, because I actually don't mind the idea that you want to move away from the whole white Jesus thing. I'm like, that bothers me too, because when you see... It's the whole... I have Obi-Wan Kenobi on my shelf, and I don't even realize it because it's white Jesus. It's
but that's like, have you seen Asian Jesus?
No.
Yeah, every culture that has art and has met Christianity has just painted Christ as one of its own people.
Sure.
So there's Asian Jesus, there's Black Jesus. It's
which has its own...
To argue that it's...
Credit.
I
kind of
a white construction, as though it was we're going to make Jesus white so as to... usurp everything. It's no, because every culture does that.
Yeah.
I mean, the only argument you have is that Christianity is a Western religion primarily. It's a European. Though. Well, but it's
because it was Arab. I mean, it was
Middle Eastern. It's
I
Mediterranean.
mean.
That's not the same. And it spread. I mean, it was because of the Roman Empire that it spread so much.
Sure.
So it's a Eurocentric religion.
Eurocentric, maybe, yes.
I mean, you can only make the only argument you can make is, well, because they're the ones who started it all, and they're like, it feels flimsy because it essentially is saying only because there's more of you, that we make it a problem. Whereas Asian Jesus, there's not that many Asian Christians, so we can let it slide. It's true.
I'm sorry. Yes, it's true, but you're.
I'm just saying that's literally the only reason. It's like, yeah, we're okay with that because of the fact that it's the minority. But when the majority tries to represent itself, that's when it's a problem. And it's like,
well, but that's true always.
No, the majority should be represented. That's not unfair.
I agree, but what I'm saying is,
and here's the thing, like, I mean, I'm gonna have to make a reference that's kind of random.
You can't deny, though, that in any context, minorities are defended vehemently. Like, I mean, it's...
Yeah, but I think that's a little bit... We have a strange...
Obsession with
with minorities.
I agree.
Where it's like, simply because you're a minority, you deserve special treatment. It's like, well, no. And...
fish people.
The thing that...
being fish people.
The thing that... I obviously wasn't alive, so I can't comment on how accurate it was. But, like, there's the scene in the Malcolm X movie... in which the prison preacher tries to convince these guys that, of course, Jesus was white. And it's like, I have a hard time believing anyone actually
made that argument.
Like, it's one thing to say, well, we depict him as white in the paintings, and most people don't question it, therefore most people assume he's white. You can make the case for saying you're allowing misinformation rather than spreading it, which is still a problem in its own way.
I agree with you, though. I don't think anybody died on that.
But and if they did, then yes, they deserve to be ridiculed for their lack of historic sense.
Yeah.
But to make it out to be like the church was always of that opinion, and it tried to suppress any historical truth. It's like, again, I wasn't alive, so I can't know, but I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I need health. We're all dying. Bubbles. I'm okay. We're all hurt. She's dead.
You're just kneeling like some sort of... It's like a samurai that's taking their...
I need to heal. I think I have the healing stuff. I just need to remember to use it.
Yeah, I found that part of the movie, while I appreciated the tension between religion and political power, if you will, or influence, because I think that does exist, and I think it's a shame.
Well, and it's the absolute power corrupts absolutely thing.
Sure.
It's like, it doesn't even have to be religious. It's just, if you knew that a bunch of people were going to worship you as a god no matter what you did, that would be something you would have to be very cautious about, because even if you were aware of it, even if you knew it wasn't true, leaning into it on purpose would lead you in a sketchy direction at the best of times.
I agree.
And from what I gather, the book, that's not a narrative that the movie installed. The book, or at least the later books, have that woven in. That the myth of Muad'Dib outgrows Paul at some point.
But I think that's a good thing in that as long as the book develops it as a bit of a, when you do lean into that, it's going to come and bite you in the rear end, in some capacity or another, because eventually you'll get to a place where you're not able to sustain that
it's level like the belief will. Well, it's Jordan Peterson saying eventually, ideas have people rather than people having ideas. So if you're not careful about it, eventually it'll have you.
Yeah.
No, I need to use an item to revive. Oh, it's going to get me before it works. Oh, never mind. All right. Cherub. All right, he's better. Everybody could use a boost. We got loads of this. Let's just all take a shot.
Shot.
There we go. Everybody gets one.
Check under your seat. You're all gonna be drunk by noon.
Okay. Oh boy, that actually hurts. Okay, I can't sit here just... Okay. Okay, there you go. Alright, I need to actually start attacking, because otherwise... That's the thing, I need to have like a designated... I need to do this D&D style. Someone's got to be the designated healer. It's not going to be the guy with the sword and the anime hair, because he couldn't. Oh boy.
I've got better things to do with my time.
Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. We got one down.
Yeah, so overall, I would say it is definitely not in my, like, this is an amazing movie that I really would watch multiple times.
No, it still is not Lord of the Rings to me.
It's probably like a 70 for me, which is a C. I mean,
Well, it's a B in England.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how accurate that is. I just know that England's less strict in their grading.
So for me, as far as stars, I would probably give it maybe a 3.
I think I gave them both 4 because I was impressed by the cinematography of them. Because that's another element. It's like they are as best, or not sure, grammatically speaking, they are as good an adaptation of the film as or of the book as probably as possible, given the depth of the book.
Sure.
I mean, the only thing I have heard, apparently there was a mini series, like a 6-episode, it's like 6 hours long, and it goes into way more detail. I don't know when it was made, 2000 something, a while back. That's probably the next best thing. Is it would have to be some kind of a show, because that's the only way you could get the depth out of it. But for a film, I would say it's probably the best adaptation possible.
Yeah.
But even still,
it was good. I was very miffed at the end. I think that I could have done without.
Yeah,
like
it seems like they're setting up more films, which, in fairness, there's more books, so it makes sense that they would do that. But I prefer it, even if a sequel's coming, to let the first one sit on its own.
And
because
I
in the book,
could have been okay with it if he just flew off with the ships, but then it's like the fact that it had to double down with the weird.
What do you mean?
The mother.
You're talking about flew off with the ships.
Well, like he
can't leave Dune. That's another.
I'm gonna go.
That's
like
another thing that's in the book. If you have become dependent on spice as part of your diet, you can't not have it anymore because you'll die. That's something that they don't deal with in the movie. So essentially, he can never leave. Well, he could, but not without. Oh, I didn't realize I could bypass that. I could bypass every part of the fight. So that's a fake save point, isn't it? I thought I had to win that fight to use the save point, but I bet you that's just a fake save point.
Could be.
Well, this is the superior strategy. Whoop. Okay, maybe not.
This music suggests no.
We're gonna fight a bunch of takoyaki.
Looks like a jelly donut with some.
It's onigiri.
Yeah, I like the idea that the other cultural groups didn't,
Yeah, and from what I understand, I think that's probably the plot of the other books. But
which
again,
is fine.
It's not it doesn't happen in the first book, so let it feel like the victory it is,
right?
Rather than
jump
straight to the next movie when now we've all got to wait another 2 years. It's like,
yeah,
let us live with this victory for as short as it lasts. Because I don't think things go to pot immediately in the books either, but I wouldn't know. I have heard mixed reviews of the other books, so I wasn't sure I was going to read them. I guess maybe I will now, just because I'm curious. These things are hard. There we go.
So there you go.
Well, we got plenty more time. Let's develop that sequence of thoughts.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm just curious. You got nothing else to say about it?
Not really. I thought the way that they interpreted the
what is the point of being over here?
The
secrets.
Not architect.
Except not secrets. Okay, so again, what was the point?
The way that they interpreted some of the artifacts of the book, meaning like the way that their technology and things like that work.
I don't know what I just did. I
nice.
just flipped a switch. And something turned green, but
I
don't know
think
what
that
means.
was unique and cool, and it was believable.
Well, again, that's very much a feature of the books is in-depth world building. I don't know what I just accomplished. I pressed the button and something turned green, but
I'm saying for the movie adaptation, they did a good job at interpreting that well, because I know with certain books, even this happened kind of within the Star Wars universe, where it's like you could interpret even within Lucas having it be cinema from the beginning. Obviously, he had to use the technology that he was trying to communicate was left up for interpretation, which means that each following or sequential movie then had its own kind of not spin on, but it felt different. It was like the original 4 or the original 3 had a particular vibe about them, and then the 1 through 3 prequels had a particular, okay, this is what the technology looked like. And then even within the new ones, it was like a little bit different. So you're going...
Just leave those out.
Well, you could, sure. But I'm just saying that the books, or the movie with Dune did a decent job at saying, well, this is what is communicated in the book as far as how this technology works, and this is how we're going to communicate it, which I thought they did a decent job at that.
Who's hurt? Who's hurt?
But...
Whoa! Slut's massively hurt.
Seems like that would happen.
Get that slut a drink. And get a hoe a drink as well. Oh boy. Revive a hoe. Oh gosh, that hurts. I just got my health back and now it's gone again. Alright, start smacking up the jellyfish.
As far as somebody who read the book, what are your...
The first one I found a little bit anticlimactic because it follows so rigidly that I was like, oh, I know everything that's going to happen. I wasn't surprised by anything because they adhered to it so closely.
Yeah.
Whereas the second film, because of the fact that they condensed the timeline a bit, oh boy, we're all hurt. We're all hurting. I'm spending most of my time healing myself. Because of the timeline was condensed, I had to piece together and be like, okay, this is sort of, we're combining elements from different times, and that it engaged me on a mental level because I had to focus on it more. So I found that I wasn't as predictive of what was going to happen. Oh boy, we've lost.
Well, I imagine that would have been a good experience.
Yeah, I would actually say I enjoyed watching the second one more because of the unknown factor. Oh, get the other guy back. At the same time, most of my gripes with the second one come from its differentiation from the book, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. I keep forgetting about the fish man. He's the one who does the real hurt. Ay. Start smacking up the pancake men. There you go. It whips its hair back and forth. No, heal the lady.
She is sorely hurt.
I can't speak. This is taking up too much of my brain. No bubbles. Okay, we're all okay except for her. Oh boy, and we're out of revive, so that's a problem.
I think it suffered a little bit in that the timeline jumps, in that there were times that, because I've talked about the idea of a gradual upward slope when it comes to unpacking plot relevant movement within the movie, and I felt like it was a little back heavy.
Most of the stuff happens in the second one, you mean?
No, well, in the second one, yes, but even within the second movie, it was like most of it happens within like the last, 40 minutes, 50 minutes.
Sure.
It was like, all this stuff happens, he's going to drink this crap, and then he's going to go over here, and it's like, okay. Whereas the first little bit of the movie is like, you're one of us now. Let's go and sleep in this tent. We're all going to hang out and do... I mean, it was like...
What was the point? So I pressed a button in the basement, and it did something, and I don't know what. Unless, do I have to leave? No, that takes me all the way back out.
So somewhat switching tracks, although it's still in the... it's not really sci-fi, I suppose. It's more of a pseudo...
No, I mean... Do we really not have anything more to say about this? I thought we'd get a full episode out of it.
Well, okay, you can talk about it.
I'm trying to fight weird sonic fishmen.
So you thought I would get a full episode?
Well, clearly you weren't as gripped. I had the thought that maybe you not knowing the book might make you more
inclined.
Similar like what I was feeling, where because I read the book, I knew what was going to happen. So I thought maybe if you hadn't read the book, you wouldn't know, and so you'd be more along for the ride, as it were.
To be fair, even not having read the book, it was not super complex.
Oh, they're back!
In order to predict.
Avoid the potato men! Oh, that worked.
Little potato men.
Okay.
You're always my favorite.
So, okay, it's off. I press this button, and it opens that, whatever that is. But I can't get there. Wait. Am I going to be angry? I think I am. Oh, I fell for the classic trick. I should have known better. You fell for one of the classic blunders. The old 16-bit half the map is invisible.
Only slightly less known.
Boss, so switch on Gribbet.
Okay, I swear those are weird. Okay.
They're weird. They're clearly weird frog people.
No, not at all. Look at that face. It looks like one of those little baboons that has the weird face.
but in the body of a frog. Oh, see, they're called frogs. Baboon frogs.
It's frogoons.
Baboon macaques.
What?
Frog macaques.
What are you on about?
That's what I mean. There's.
Is that what the name of the monkey is?
Well, that's one type of monkey that has a funny face.
I have never heard that ever. Only you would know the name macaque.
Because apparently only I'm knowledgeable about zoology? Sure, I'll take that.
I think you stumbled over the...
I stepped gingerly over it.
Okay. So it's not
Oh boy, what is that thing? Sir Crawley? Really?
No.
Sir Walter Crawley?
Wow.
I don't know why I'm reading this in Christopher Walken's voice now. Coming through the sewer like they own it. Him as the Emperor was
I couldn't
anticlimactic. That's not what the word is. It's not at all how I imagined. I imagined it almost like Warhammer-ish. Like I imagined him being just this I imagined him being played by The Rock or something. Which he's just this giant man. Because it is depicted as the reason he's the emperor is because he's essentially he won his way to the top because that's how it works. Or at least maybe I was reading into that. Maybe that wasn't established.
I mean,
but I just imagined a Warhammer-ish, he's 7 feet tall and just jacked.
See, I thought I got more like Bloodline Wars vibes.
I don't know what this is.
Biblical Bloodline Wars.
What?
Where it's obviously there was not incest.
Okay,
but
goodness, they're just laughing forever.
But there's we're trying to marry, this person marries this person in order to build this alliance, and over.
No, but I don't think he was the result of that. That's what the Bene Gesserit do.
Well,
but I don't think that's how he came to power. At least I don't remember the book establishing that. Someone's hurt. Oh boy, well, she's dead. She's turbo mega ultra dead. What? Oh, never mind. She just took that in stride.
Okay.
No.
We're gonna leave that one alone.
Give her the juice.
Okay, you need to stop yourself.
Maybe you need to get your face checked.
What?
There you go, flame bug. Oh, I'm hurt again. Ooh, that actually did some decent damage. I've got to get up. Oh, and I'm out of revives. Oh, we host. Okay, I guess we're just gonna have to heal ourselves up because there ain't no man gonna save us. Use your flaming stuff. Whatever that is, it seemed to do decent damage. And you can use... Do you have anything? Oh, you're the healy one! Oh, I've been using the wrong person to heal. That's why. Okay, bye, ho. Wow, she just takes that like a champ. Every time.
Stop!
You're the only one making things weird.
No!
It's literally the fact that she survives it every time surprises me, because that looks like the kind of attack that would just be a one-hit kill. Both of you kill this thing!
She just died.
Well, I mean, that's what happened to me.
Is it?
Well,
that explains a lot.
Hey, give me the health, because she's the healy. Well, I healed her. Oh, she's not the one who needs the health. I need the other chick to be healed. Attack with fire! Can I double fire? I can't. So yeah, that was the one piece of casting, because otherwise I think all the casting was actually quite good.
But I felt like it was a bit wasted. Like I was expecting him to make something out of it.
No, he's not very present in the book, to be honest.
It felt a little flat.
Yeah, I mean it did as well, but I felt in the book most of his quote-unquote presence is kind of just that he's there, which is I guess maybe why in my mind I had a kind of Warhammer-ish, just like super mutant giant man. Like the reason he commands presence literally because no one can be calm around him. So that maybe that was what I had in my where that perception of him came from, is because in the book he hardly speaks.
And then the movies say Christopher Walken.
I mean, it's a weird bit of casting because it's like, what? Maybe they were going with what? What is Christopher Walken known for other than the weird talk? Like that's the thing. Is like. Maybe 20 years ago, Christopher Walken was known for playing really profound, deeply wise characters, but I've never known that. If that was the attitude they wanted me to ascribe to him, it didn't. Because I know, even the way, like he responds to things with a kind of stoic placidness where it's like he's just not bothered, he's not threatened.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come across that way because he just sort of looks apathetic, not... Because again, I have this image in my mind of like, this is a guy who's just genuinely not threatened. Like he's like, nah, I wouldn't even bother.
Right.
Not... I don't know.
Pacifist almost.
I didn't get with that vibe, but I just sort of got a... I don't know. I don't know what he does all day. I can't imagine him. I can't imagine him governing anything.
What are you talking about? That is government. What do you do all day?
I mean, okay, but that's government now. If you were the emperor, what would you do all day?
I don't know.
Would you just be Nero, or would you actually get stuff done? Oh dear. Buddy boy's hurt real bad. Heal your fool self. Well, now the two chicks are at least leveled up properly. Now I just gotta get bruh back on track. Why can none of you do a decent attack? Why is the man the only one capable of hurting things? Oh, and here he goes again. Attack the fishman. I should probably be attacking the things closer to me now that I think about it. I don't know who does the more damage, actually. The fishmen seem to hurt more. Oh. Alright. Okay, so the bubbles don't actually hurt that much. What about the lightning? That seems like it'll hurt a lot. Oh, not that much. Okay. Alright, we might be okay. Okay, good, good, good. Boom. One down, 2 pancakes to go. So, yeah. Other than that, casting's pretty great. There was several new people. Like, I don't think I remember the mom being in anything. She was pretty good. I'm generally unimpressed with Timothée Chalamet. Like, he's good in this because he plays a young character. Oh, she heals way well. She heals better than the tonic. I need to use her more often. Like, I don't know. I find I can't take him seriously in just about anything else because he looks so much like a child. But in this, he's supposed to be a kid, so it's... I mean, not a kid, but like a teenager.
You don't feel like that worked within the Wonka context?
It seems like he should have been more of a young man than a kid.
Well, I mean...
Oh.
He kind of is.
I don't know. Okay, 1 takoyaki to go. It's nothing to do with the game, that's just my lunch order. Alright, well, I can't revive people anymore, which means we're in a bad way. Because she's the one who's supposed to heal us. I mean, basically, at this point, I could just spank these weird jelly things, but... There we go. I'm trying to think. I actually think, what's-his-head? Harkonnen was really well done. Just because, I mean, that's partially due to the makeup as well as... I mean, I think Stellan Skarsgård's a great actor. He was the guy in Avengers, the physicist. I don't know if you'd remember that. That's the film.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what is he in this?
He's the big fat guy. It's just, I mean, it's a good job making him just be gross and like, ew. Because that's how he's described. Is this the right way to go, or is this the wrong way? It must be the right way, because I got... Ooh, bolt sword! Hey, hey, hey! Wrong one. I forget how the menu buttons work. Let us have a look at the bolt sword, lad. Whoa! Oh, it's not that much. It is better, though. That's the other thing I need to be doing, is probably upgrading my equipment more often than I am. Hang on. This gives me better speed. A bandana. Better speed. It's like a racing stripe. It just works. What can I... Oh, okay, I can't use anything for you.
Adds 5 to 10 horsepower. It's like those cold air intakes.
Power glove. Okay, you can wear the power glove. That's fine by me. The slut can wear nothing. She can have the load bow because, of course.
Wow.
The game calls it that. What am I supposed to do? Alright, now we're better. Marginally speaking. I don't know. On a technical level, do you have any impressions on that? Or were you only engaging narratively speaking? What? How did I get here?
As far as like how they executed things?
Yeah. Because I think on those things. I liked...
the worms were not that...
Yeah, I have a recollection...
better at that.
I have a recollection of some behind the scenes of like, here's how we did the worms. And they did this weird stuff where, like, in the behind the scenes thing, they talked about how they modeled, like, the interior of the worms. They had they had a, like, professional beatboxer, and they stuck a camera down his throat while he was beatboxing.
Right.
To guess, like, because they're basically, like, the worms are just, like, giant throats.
Yeah.
So they were going to have the interior of it be this kind of creepy mouth-like mass. And I was like, I never saw any of that. So either these behind-the-scenes things just got scrapped, or I hallucinated them. Because I remember them talking about this, and then they just weren't a relevant thing. So I was like,
well, I could have sworn, seeing some sort of, like, trailer footage that was, like, actually a startling version of the...
So, the existentialist turnip, and...
Now I've got a headache.
And whoever this guy is. Hello? Do they not see me? I can't seem to cross the threshold. Am I hallucinating this, or is there just some kind of, on the other side of some very clean glass? Well, okay then, fellas. I can't help but feel you're being a bit antisocial. Oh, okay, whatever. I guess I've got to do something else first. Do I have to interact with the weird computer thing? Because the worms aren't really much of a thing in the... Oop! It flickered. Was that all it's going to do? I feel like I'm hearing... I didn't hear what it did, but it did something. They're not much of a presence in the book, other than as things that get ridden and things that have to be kind of avoided. There is never like a boss fight with one. So I seem to recall, another trailer moment of like Paul staring down a worm and having some sort of psychic communication or something, which also didn't happen. So either, again, I'm hallucinating all of these things or they got cut, which is weird.
You're starting a whole new movie in your head.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of the 80s version. I don't know what's up with this. This computer doesn't seem to function. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh! Oh, so this was a gantry. Did you guess that? Also, that seems like I should have still been able to speak to him. Oi!
Hello down there.
Oh. Oh. Pulling a halo on this. They're expecting us. Oh, he wasn't speaking to us. I thought he was talking like he was expecting us. Shala. What? What? Okay. I'm sufficiently confused if that's what they wanted. Okay, so I was going to that place to get food, or at least that's what I thought I was doing. But every time... Okay. Well, the game is not forthcoming.
What else is new with these kinds of games, though?
Well, yeah, but I thought, I spent a whole bunch of effort to get here. I would have thought that these two guys would have been of some... Like, I thought these would have been the guys to give me the next quest or something.
Here, go travel here. Yes, I'm a talking turnip. Who cares?
Well, I guess we'll just go. I don't know what... Maybe, I'm confused. Okay, well, I really don't want to have to go walk all the way back just to learn what I was supposed to be doing.
I don't like those kinds of games.
Well, at least I can
Type
run.
in pick up E-flat.
Oh, don't do this to me again!
G-flats. Oh, no.
See, that's why I don't want to do this, is because stuff comes back every time. Okay. Well, I haven't saved, actually, so if I die here, I'll just go back to where I need to get to, so maybe that's the right thing to do, now that I know how to solve this. Alright, whack us up, guys. I mean, we're at almost the time anyway, so... Guess we'll conclude our thoughts about Dune as we die horribly to fishmen. I thought it was well done. I wasn't emotionally gripped because I wasn't by the books either.
I think they could have done a better job with the relationship in order to make you emotionally gripped.
Yeah, but even then in the books I was like, oh yeah, they're fun. You can root for them as a couple, but that was kind of it.
Yeah.
I liked the dad actually the most in the book because he's a
dad.
Surely you recognize there's only one major dad figure. Oh, that died faster than I thought. Because he's given more time to be a dad and to be like, oh, we like the Atreides because they're good folk and whatnot. And he dies awfully quickly in the first movie, so it's kind of like, oh, well, okay.
Sure.
Anyway, I still feel like it was as well developed a portrayal as it could be. It was as interesting mentally, but still not as interesting emotionally, because I was like, okay. It's more of a intellectual, like, exercise. Like, oh, what an interesting world this builds.
I feel like it was more of a, not even a criticism, but a reflection maybe of the way that humans organize themselves as far as cultures and religious, it's like that each culture kind of had their own angle really to accomplish their own ends, but then you see all this interconnection or interplay within that.
Oh, was I supposed to climb the mountain? He did say something about climbing the mountain, but I didn't know that mountain was climbable. It just looked like a barrier. Oh, okay, so everyone's telling me to stay off Death Peak, which means there's one thing I need to do. Okay, see, I gotta make a habit of talking to folks. Because they're gonna be the ones to tell me to do stuff. Yeah, sorry, kid, your dad's dead. Alright, well, now I gotta go all the way back there and kill some robots, but... not kill some robots, I mean, I'm gonna have to do that again, but I'm also gonna have to climb the mountain. But I don't know that I want to bother with that now. So, well, closing thoughts?
It's always gonna be another mountain.
Well, ain't it the way? Is that your close? Is that your pithy attempt at ending?
That was my humorous attempt at quoting Hannah Montana, if you missed it.
Always gonna be another mountain.
Always gonna want to make it move.
You expect me to... That says more about
your era.
You. So? You think I watched it just because it was around then?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm insulted.
Well, you should be.
Whoop! Wrong button.